Hello, welcome to the first episode of Sister Sam, my podcast where I try not to talk to you in such a podcasty voice, but here we are. Conversations, sisterly conversations on all things self inquiry, self reflection, spirituality, deconstruction, deconditioning, and living in the flow of life itself. I talk a lot about my own understandings of my ancestry as being a first gen Filipina, queer Filipina living in what is now called the United States of America. I talk sometimes about human design, astrology, I talk about my faith, earth based spirituality, all these different things. Sometimes it gets more philosophical than spiritual because I'm an Aquarius and that's the way I speak and that's the way I see the world. And so, if you want to hear more, you can subscribe. However, you do that, if you're on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, watching this on YouTube, you can go ahead and give me a like, subscribe, a shout out on the internet, whatever. You can follow me on Instagram at sam.stilluna or my apothecary vintage page at stilluna goods. You can also look at all the other offerings I have on my website. All of those are linked below. I don't have much of an intro, but I'm so glad that you're here for this very first episode. I talk about why Filipinos love to sing karaoke, and it comes from this perspective of me realizing my own joy in singing. And if you are a child of immigrants, you will probably relate to this, especially if you are Filipino. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy this episode and let me know what you think. You can share it with your friends or your family or send me a comment, a DM, wherever if you listen to it and you have some reflection of your own. I'd love to hear and start that conversation. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the episode. Bye. So, yesterday I sang at an open mic, and I'm not like, this isn't like a new thing for me to like perform on stage and sing, but I still get nervous every single time. And it felt great, it felt good, it felt natural. And I was writing this morning and I wrote the question, why do you love to be on stage? Like, why does it feel so good, so right for you to perform on stage? And I was thinking about this phenomenon, this fact of life, that we are nature. And the answer that I wrote was because it's in my nature. And nature is also stars, celestial bodies in the cosmic environment. And it is just in my nature for me to sing and be on stage and perform. And then I started to write some more. And then I wrote the question, but why is it in your nature to be a star? To sing specifically. And you know, like when we do ancestral work, we start to learn things about our cultures that we come from. We start to see the range of the historical oppression, the repression of our organic nature. And specifically in Filipino culture, we love to sing. If you've ever been to a Filipino party, there's usually karaoke. We're also very like loud people. And then I was thinking about that. Oh, like, why is that? Why do Filipinos love to sing so much? Why do we love to like be on stage and perform, so much? And it got me thinking about what I read in this book called My Grandmother's Hands. I forgot the first name of the author, but his last name is Manikem. I will leave a link to that if you want to read it. And there was a portion of the book. Basically, this book is about how to heal the trauma that lives in our bodies and the different like coping mechanisms that people of color specifically do to cope with that trauma in the body. And one of these things is, I really wish I remember his name, but Manikem was talking about how when Black people were slaves laboring in the fields, they would sing, they would sway their hips, they would do things like that just to keep energy moving in their body, is the way that I see it. And it's also a visceral phenomenon of harm and violence. And so what do you do when you're experiencing that? If you can't deal, you cope with it. And one of the ways that we cope and we move through trauma is by movement, song. And I was thinking specifically the voice, like, why is it that Filipinos love to sing? And I really feel like it's this historical repression of our natural organic expression as what we now call Filipino people. Because pre-conquest, there were so many different types of people, all different colors of the rainbow, kinds of gender. Like, I don't even like to say that there was like a third, because I really feel like it was just so varied. I can't even say that there was like 1, 2, 3. Like, there were multitudes, multi-dimensions of gender expression. And when the church colonizers came, they said, you can't be that way, you can't act like that, that is ungodly. And it wasn't just like, okay, well, like, it's ungodly, I'm gonna stop. No, it was like, we're gonna make it so hard for you, we're gonna make it dangerous for you. And I don't have to explain all this, because I feel like we know this at this point in time. But that suppression or that repression, that oppression of our self-expression has made manifest a phenomenon of Filipinos needing to express themselves somehow in a safe way that we do that. Blue is acting a fool. Hold on. Sorry. A safe way that we can do that is singing karaoke. And that DNA, that way of coping with the trauma that lives in the body, gets passed on. And so now, like, with this awareness that I have, I feel like now I have the privilege of having a choice. If I want my self-expression to materialize in this way, it's like, I love to sing, I love to perform, but I don't have to sing and I don't have to perform in the ways that were for survival. I can sing and I can perform, I can express myself, because I have this awareness now, in a way that feels true and authentic to my nature. And I really love that. So I hope this was helpful in understanding why you may do certain things or why your family might be a certain way. I don't know. And not every Filipino likes to sing. I just have to say that also. It's just where I find myself understanding my place in time and helps me to have more compassion for my people, where I come from. And now I have this awesome opportunity to have my vocalization, my performance, my singing practice be something true and authentic to me and my nature today, right now. Look at this tree.